On this episode, we've got a ton of dining updates from some of our favorite spots. Today's October 8th, 2024, and this is episode 709 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, in addition to live streams from the parks and our weekly live show, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Ready for your next bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
Well, good morning, Jeremy. Happy Sunday.
Hello. Is it?
I don't know. We have a storm
stressful Sunday. Yeah, there is another one coming.
We don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, we're not sure.
We'll
have to see
what
happens. Yeah, we got Milton coming. So we'll see. We got the Halloween party Thursday night. We'll see. Mm-hmm. I think the universe doesn't want us to go this year, is what it's feeling like. But
which I did have Jeremy already screenshot the
tickets.
Yeah. Thank you, for our party. So if we have to drive down on a day trip, if it is canceled, I do believe we will before October 31st, so we can get some of this year's merchandise.
Why do you want it?
Because it's cute. I like the one.
I know, but it says Halloween Party 2024 on it.
Yeah, and I'll always remember
yeah, this is
we
true.
had two storms.
We should. Well, we don't know yet. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But for now, there are still a lot of people struggling from just a week or two ago,
yes.
Especially throughout the Carolinas and all. So if you have an opportunity to go out, I mean, there's a million different charities. Do your research. Yeah. I'm not going to specifically recommend any, just because I know some are preferred, but you can, other than others, like Red Cross and some of those. So depending on where you want your money to go, just go out and look. Anything you can give right now will help tremendously.
Yeah, so sad.
And then now we have to see what's going to happen here throughout Florida, because this is going to affect, regardless of the effects, and what may or may not happen, down at Disney World and the party with us really doesn't matter.
Correct.
At all. But Florida's going to be affected by this one for sure. And especially, for those out in the Gulf area, unfortunately, St. Pete's and Tampa and those areas, it looks like there's another potential landfall. Just thoughts with everyone out there. Please stay safe, be prepared. And again, if you are have the means to give anything at all, go out, find some of those. They're helping benefit especially the Carolinas and things that are going on there right now. So let's move on, though, to today's episode. We have a ton of content to pack in. So we're going to do 2 episodes of dining updates. And these are some of our favorite places that we've gone back to. Either A, because they had something new, or B, it had been a while. Yeah. And, we were kind of maybe going to see if they were still as good as we remembered, and things like that. So we're going to cover those over the course of 2 episodes that will come out over the next few weeks. We have a review episode most likely coming, which will include our car camping, some of the stuff from the Momentum weekend, and then depending on what happens this upcoming weekend and content that could be included within there. And then I've got a Journey to Imagination coming this month with a new friend of mine, Connor Brown from Vacation Kingdoms. That's going to be coming the next 2 weeks. And another one, Rhonda gets a little bit of a break. Have some friends coming on that throw this ridiculous Halloween party every year. That they're going to come on and talk about how to throw a Disney-themed Halloween party. So that's going to be super cool. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. But let's start talking food. And we're going to start off with 2 different snacks that are currently available throughout, I believe it's the rest of October.
Okay.
And what is the first one that I came across at the Polynesian?
Yes.
While we were visiting with our friend Steve over there. I got us some coffees, and I got me a coffee one afternoon.
You did.
And I picked this little surprise up for Rhonda.
Yeah, and it's a Stitch vampire cake. He's super cute. He's got little teeth and a little, cape. He's only $7.99. He is a chocolate cake with raspberry ice cream cone buttercream. That's what was in the middle. That was what
was inside. This wasn't very good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good.
Bad. It wasn't like the Monster cupcake.
No.
That was not.
That was plant-based.
This was good. I think because it was a fondant, because of the way he was made, and he was super stinking cute. I think it needed more icing to go along with the cake.
Yeah.
The cake part was good.
Yeah.
The center inside was some type of, it was just harder and it wasn't really soft. So I think it just needed, unfortunately, more like buttercream icing.
Agree. As is, it's not good. That's what I'm saying. Right? Wouldn't you agree? Because it was all you got was the flavors of the fondant. And fondant is very pretty and it is edible, but it really, you don't want to be eating a ton of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and even this one, usually a lot of times the fondant will adhere to the cake via a layer of icing. I don't even think it had that. So it just came off very, very dry.
Yes.
And to me, fondant flavor is just kind of there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not anything specific. I mean, it just kind of tastes like a sugary, like, I don't know, cake leather. It's really kind of what it is, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
So, again, very, very cute. $8 is not bad. We all had some. You and I and Steve, we all tried some.
And I kept going back to it.
It was missing the mark on something.
I think it was.
That's
just
all.
the buttercream icing.
Yeah.
If there would have been a side, like we'll get to eventually, when we were car camping, we got some cookies and they had a side of buttercream icing that you could dip in. That would have been better.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah. Or just more, because it was a little dome cake, more inside.
Yeah.
If, instead of it being that hard raspberry
and
kind of
softer.
filling.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a little bit better. One more that we did get to, and then we will cover additional treats on the next review episode of the Dining Updates. But we did go over to Swirls like we do when we're at Disney Springs. Now, this is one of the first times in a long time I feel like just you and I have gone. Usually we have the girls with us, and it's a little something that we do anytime we happen to be back at Disney Springs with them. But we always get the sampler.
Yeah.
Right? And it's usually some sort of seasonal sampler.
Yes.
What do they have going on right now?
Aha. So they have 3 Dole Whips for $7.99. One is a pistachio and purple cheesecake. One is a pumpkin and toasted marshmallow. And then your third one is your normal Dole Whip, pineapple, and vanilla swirl.
Yeah.
The pistachio and purple cheesecake is your Maleficent cone. And your pumpkin and toasted marshmallow can be a pumpkin and toasted marshmallow sundae.
Yes.
And both of those were phenomenal.
Outstanding.
Like, amazing. I can't tell you which one I liked better. Like,
these have been some of my favorite Dole Whip flavors.
Oh my goodness. They were so this sampler, because we know we love the Dole Whip pineapple and vanilla.
Yeah.
But all 3 of these together, holy moly, this was amazing.
I love it. And these samplers for $8 is a really good price. I mean, this is one of those, if we go at some point and break down like the best priced snacks or whatever it may be, this is certainly up there. You're getting 3 small plastic martini glasses. I don't know exactly how many ounces they are each. And I'll be honest, I don't know how they compare to a regular size of a Dole Whip that you get. John probably does know. He can chime in. But I think it's a great sampler that, again, we've sat with 4, 5, 6 of us before with a sampler, one sampler, and everybody just gets a little bite. This isn't probably your main dessert. Right. Especially if you're me, who needs a good old big scoop of salt and straw in a waffle cone. But this is like that perfect little treat, that afternoon or evening treat or something that a bunch of you just want to try. And it's that conversational piece where you each try one of the 3 and you all kind of, talk about them and all. It's just, I think they're just a lot of fun.
It is. And it's also a great way to see if you're like, pistachio and purple cheesecake, is that good?
It is.
Right, but you think like, do I want a whole
definitely
Maleficent cone with this, or do I want the sampler? And then depending on how many times you're there, get the sampler, and then if you love both of them like we did, go back and get your Maleficent cone. Go back and get your pumpkin and toasted marshmallow sundae.
I mean, again, at $8, this is worth going, which one do I want tonight? If there was several, I mean, again, if it was even just our family of 4, which it never is anymore, so add 2 kids. There's going to be 6 of us, right? Girls are each going to have somebody with them.
Yep.
If 6 of us got this for $8, all to help decide what we wanted to get for our full dessert, $8 is nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 100%. We each take a bite. I go, you know what? I'd rather get an entire pumpkin and toasted marshmallow sundae. Great. Right. Instead of me spending the full, everybody getting their own full dessert and maybe somebody not liking theirs.
Correct.
So I love it. We will always go to Swirls on the Water over there. Yep. It's closer to Rainforest Cafe at Disney Springs, and we will get these every time.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the one that I think people are most interested in hearing about. We have a fully updated, mostly very new menu finally over at Pecos Bill, Tall Tale Cafe and Inn.
Yep.
Over at Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
And in Frontierland. What is super interesting about this is, we've always had rumors swirling for a while, ever really since the announcement of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's like, what are they going to do with the rest of this area now that Tiana's is coming in? We have the Tiana specific items, featured items, currently still at Golden Oak Outpost. And a lot of people thought, could Pecos Bill finally get a refurb and get switched into some sort of Tiana's or Palace place, whatever it may be? Now, with the announcement of Cars Land going in, I think that really stirs all that up. And I don't know what the fate of Pecos Bill will be, but they at least are putting in a new menu and reviving it for now, right?
Yes,
whether it sticks around, it makes it through this or not, we don't know, but we have a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yes.
One of those being these make-your-own bowls.
Okay.
So they've got the steamed tamale bowl, they've got a nacho bowl, Southwest Caesar salad bowl, and a rice bowl. And then you will pick your protein. So each of those comes with a certain base. You'll pick your protein on top. The available proteins are citrus, chipotle chicken, a green chili pork, and then a Coca-Cola cherry braised beef. They also have some new things like a double chili con queso burger. This is 2 flame broiled all beef patties topped with chili con carne, chipotle queso, and corn chips. They've got a grilled masa flatbread. This is grilled corn flatbread topped with sweet potatoes, stewed pinto beans, plant-based pepper jack cheese, shredded lettuce, pico de gallo, plant-based lime crema. So the burger and the flatbread have very, very similar items on the Halloween party menu. They have a burger and they've got a flatbread on there, a grilled masa flatbread. So our thought in testing new items was we aren't going to worry about those 2 because we're going to have those during the Halloween party. Ha ha. Joke's on us, right? We might not get to.
Right. No.
If the Halloween party goes off Thursday night, which we hope it does, we will be there and we will try their burger and their flatbread.
Okay.
What we decided on was the bowls.
Yes.
We decided to get the steamed tamale bowl and the nacho bowl. So the steamed tamale, its base, and then you add whatever protein that I mentioned, is a steamed green chili cheese tamale with stewed pinto beans, queso fresco, and pico de gallo. Then the nacho bowl, as its base, is house-fried corn tortilla chips smothered with stewed pinto beans, chipotle queso, and pico de gallo.
And all these bowls are $12.99.
Yes, each.
So
now, you can add a second protein for an added cost.
Okay,
so if you
sounds
said,
about right.
I want nachos with pork and chicken, then you can do that. I think it's like $1.50 added cost on top of your $12.99. So we decided to start with the steamed green chili cheese tamale bowl, and we added the Coca-Cola braised beef. Mm-hmm. Let's start with that one.
Yes.
What did you think of this meal? Start, I guess, with the base. What did you think of the tamale base, which included the pinto beans?
It was great.
And then we actually got some rice in there as well, right?
Yes. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
The Coca-Cola cherry braised beef, I don't feel like I got a ton of Coca-Cola like cherry taste as much as it just to me was overpowering. It wasn't bad. Jeremy, I feel like you explained it really well. What is it, Lloyd's?
Yeah, so the base is great. The tamale is great. It's a great tamale. I honestly I didn't think I was very big on pinto beans. I was kind of like, why don't we have black beans? I really like black beans with Mexican food, but the pinto beans are great. Yeah. They really are. They've got good flavor. Mm-hmm. Rice was cooked well. And yeah, the tamale is just a perfect green chili tamale. Good. This on its own, and first of all, these portions are huge. This is when we're going to tell you.
They are.
These are very, very shareable.
Yeah.
Like, this was a lot of food for us to get. And we got a whole other entree we'll talk about.
Yes, we did.
So I thought the tamale portion was perfect. If you got it with nothing, this would be a good meal.
Yes, it would.
The braised beef, if you have ever had the Lloyd's pre-packaged barbecue that you can buy in a tub, you can get a pork, there's a chicken, they have a beef. That's what this tasted like. It is a very processed, over-shredded beef. So it is very, I don't know what the word, because it's not mushy isn't the word, but it's not like you're getting, like if you think of a real good pulled beef or pulled pork like sandwich, you have some chunks of it. And this is very thin strips of the beef. It is so overly sauced that you know it's beef. Like, it has that little bit of flavor that this is a beef product as opposed to a chicken or pork, but it's almost so over sauced that it's hard to tell. And to me, this flavor lends much more to a barbecue style flavor than it does a Mexican or Southwest style flavor.
I'll agree with that.
You know, I think because they're going with the regular queso fresco, so there isn't any spice inherently, a little bit in the green chilies, but those aren't overly spicy. Mm-hmm. I think if this instead had maybe been a chipotle barbecue sauce with a mild chipotle flavor, but maybe not a ton of the spice, it could have been a lot better. And then if just that meat wasn't so overworked. So for me personally, while I didn't think the beef was bad, I wouldn't get it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And because,
it took away from the dish more than it added to it.
I'll agree.
Is what I'll say.
And here's the reason why I wouldn't get this again, because when we got the nacho bowl, we added the citrus chipotle chicken to it. Holy cow. Yeah. This was fantastic. The chicken was so good that I would have added it to the tamale. I would have the chicken every time.
Any of them.
Yes.
I'd ask for a side bowl of chicken.
Yeah. I know we'll have to, unfortunately, try the green chili pork, but it does make me nervous because the chicken was so good. Yeah.
I have a feeling that, and I haven't looked at reviews or whatever of other people with the pork, I have a feeling the pork will follow what the braised beef is doing.
Possibly.
But this chicken was perfect. It had great flavor.
So good.
Does have a little bit of spice to it, but it also has that great citrus hit. It's chunks of chicken. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not shredded to death chicken. Everything about this I thought was good. You do get a little bit of spice from the chipotle queso on here.
Yes, but it was so good.
You know, where Disney isn't usually inherently spicy, they actually get it right here. It has a nice light spice, still with a ton of flavor. Not going to burn your mouth off. You're going to get all the taste. I thought this was perfect. If I think about nachos, which we love.
Yes.
This would now be a go-to spot on Disney property.
Absolutely.
Easily.
And I would love, because the tamale was so good, I would love, this is one of those things where we're going to be in Magic Kingdom and Jeremy's going to be like, what do you want to eat today? And I'm going to go, oh, I want the tamale with the chicken, please. Yeah. And I'll be like, can we share it because it's so big? Or depending on what we eat or whatever, like that day, it'll be like, can we share it? And then if not, all right, I guess I don't know if I'll eat it all because it is. I mean, we got both of these entrees And unfortunately, both of these we did not finish.
No.
We did finish more of the nachos because it was so good.
Yeah.
But we just kind of let the, unfortunately, tamale braised beef go to the side because it was the chicken. Like I just kept going back. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I was so full, and I was like, I still want another bite. Yeah. It was so good.
And this is one, honestly, I mean, it's layered pretty well. It's got a ton of stuff in it. Yep. When you get to the bottom, the chips are soggy, but it's so good. I just ate it with a fork.
Yeah. I just
I honestly ate the soggy chips because they were still loaded with chicken and cheese and everything with the fork. You do have a choice. And do you go through something like conversations or interactions and they happen and then later you go, you know what I mean? Like during the moment, you don't quite, whatever your brain doesn't process what's going on, you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And then later you go, oh, I see what happened. So these come with either, you can choose as the side with it, basically a queso or guacamole that comes with the entree.
Okay.
So I said, we want one with queso and we want one with guacamole because we had been asked when we announced the menu from Disney if chips came with this. And so that was going to be my way of finding out. Right? Was, okay, well, it comes with the side of this. Let's get one. Uh-huh. So when I said I would like one guacamole, one with queso, and again, I didn't catch on when she said it. She said, they already have queso on them. And I just said, okay, and went on with, and we got the meal. What they would give you as your side is a cup of queso. That's what I wanted. We got two little prepackaged things of guacamole, so we did get that.
Yes.
And then we got nothing else with it, which is fine. I was just trying to do some research. It does not appear that chips are going to come with the entree at all. Now, again, I don't know if she rang it in a way where she said I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But
well, we will go back to
we
eat.
Will.
So we will be going back to get this for sure. So, we can definitely.
Right. And from the looks of it, if you just get a side, if you ask for a side of guacamole or a side of queso, it does not appear that it's coming with chips either.
Yeah.
So it doesn't appear that there's anything like that. One thing they did add that I do want to get is a barbecue cheddar seasoned fries. Now, it looked like literally it is a dry barbecue and cheddar flavored seasoning on the fries. Not as though it has any sort of barbecue or cheddar like sauces on them. Okay. It's actually like a flavoring. So overall, though, chicken, get it on any of these. Yes. It's going to be good. We did get the dessert. They have a sweet corn mousse. This has white chocolate and raspberry powder for $6.29. This looks like cute. A half ear of corn on the cob.
Sure
that they had something very similar at the Halloween party recently at Pecos Bill. Mm-hmm. And this is not the exact same item. It is this sweet corn mousse. Mm-hmm. That one, I believe, had some almond flavors to it. What did you think of this?
I loved it. It's just that it is just a corn mousse, the whole thing. So there's not, you have to be okay texture wise with it just being the whole thing being soft and nothing crunchy, nothing to change that texture for you.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was one of those things where I was like, when I first took a bite, and then I was like, oh wait, I want another one. I want another. It's one of those things like that. So it's one of those things where I didn't take the first bite and go, oh my God, this is the most awesome thing ever.
Yeah.
But once I ate it and I kind of thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, I'd get that again, 100%.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy it.
Yeah. I really liked the flavors. I wish it had a contrasting texture.
Yeah.
I wish it had a crunch to it.
I don't blame you.
Even if like the bottom, to not take away from the look of it, because it literally looks like a piece of corn.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Does.
It looks like the kernels and everything. It's really cool. I wish maybe that the bottom of it had like a graham cracker crust or something to give you a little bit of crunch, but you wouldn't technically see it. But other than that, I mean, I would get this again easily. I just wish it had something else to it. But I thought it was great. Your brain kind of takes a little bit, for me at least, to decide what the flavor is. At first, I got more of a vanilla mousse flavor.
I do agree with that.
But then you start to get some of that sweet corn flavor that's over in the soft serve over at Anti-Gravity's Galactic Goodies right now, which you can get during the day. So really did enjoy this.
Yeah.
All right. Our next update, we're not going to spend a ton of time on because we just dined there for episode 678. So not that long ago, we had made our way back to Ohana. We last minute, the Thursday night after our party was canceled, we decided to still go down, and we were hanging out with our good friend and cast member Steve. He was staying at the Poly for 2 nights, so we were kind of hanging out there and taking advantage of everything the Poly had to offer. We did Trader Sam's. Did not eat there because we had decided kind of last minute and grabbed a reservation to Ohana.
Yes.
How was it? Because we enjoyed it last time that we went.
We did.
We had not dined. So we dined in Ohana February of 2019. We last dined just like 2 months ago or so, 2-3 months ago. So it had been 5 years since we last went, and we really enjoyed it. What about this time?
Well, this time, I'm not sure if it was just because it was the storm and where we were sat, we were looking at Magic Kingdom, and I just felt
perfect view.
Oh my gosh. And I just felt so safe and comfortable. And it is to me like complete comfort food, and the bread, and then everything was wonderful. And I felt like maybe, because, just like anybody has on times and off times. And, that's why we always say, go multiple times because you might not love it, but then the next time. And this was just one of the nights that I think all the kitchen cooks were like on point because this meal was the steak was fantastic. And it was really cool because not only was it fantastic, but we asked for more. And Steve likes it a little more rare, which so do we, which was amazing. And he asked our awesome waitress, and she brought us some more steak that was a little more rare. It was just wonderful.
Yeah.
Everything was so good.
This was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This was perfect from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like one of the I loved everything. I'm not going to sit back and say, this is the best meal I've ever had. Don't worry, everybody. It's fine. I'm not going to say that it everything was just perfect.
It was just, like I said, they were on.
Yes. From beginning to end, from the service to the entertainment to every single food item was just perfect. Like I remember last time that Ron and I went, really liked everything, but the steak was fine last time. It was good. I didn't think it was like the best, but it was good. I enjoyed the chicken last time. It was good. This was just perfection. The chicken was I could not stop eating the chicken. Like even down to the wings that you start with, to the chicken that comes as like your entree portion. It was just so good. I would, if they could say every time you visit Ohana would be like this time, like we'd almost go every single visit.
Yeah.
Because
really
it was
good.
just amazing. Like I was so thrilled with it. This is one of those meals that I could almost say this is like one of the top 5 meals, not for any individual thing, just as a whole.
Yeah.
To have that experience is great. A lot of times you might have the best food, but the service was maybe okay, or the best service, but maybe something was off with your food, and even down to the entertainment, the guy coming around and talking to every table, like celebrating birthdays. He was playing and it had this feel, even though, Disney had not really done any major closures on the parks. They actually extended the opening of Magic Kingdom to 8 that night as opposed to 6 because they did cancel the Halloween party. There wasn't anything crazy. There were some extra characters in the lobby. It was a little gloomy outside, but Orlando was going to make out very well in this whole thing, right? And not see any major effects from this storm as it was coming through. But you still had this feeling. And there is a certain feeling, everybody right now is very concerned, obviously, about maybe they're arriving today or tomorrow.
Right.
And there is a lot of concern. And obviously, depending on where you're coming from, you need to make sure that everything is safe at home, depending on where that is. And if this storm could affect wherever you're coming from.
Right.
You have to look at, do you have special things that are planned? What might be canceled? What could happen? But I will say, being at Disney is one of the safest places you can be.
Oh yeah.
Disney a lot of times and
100%.
local, resorts around Disney will open up special rates for people to come, even if Disney thinks and Orlando thinks they might be affected by a hurricane.
Right.
They're a very, very safe place to be.
Yes.
And the way that Disney goes above and beyond in entertaining and keeping people safe and making sure that everything is good and that you are having a good time. So, again, we can't make a decision for you whether you should cancel your
Correct.
trip or not.
Correct.
But just know that if you go and let's just say the parks are closed on Wednesday and that was one of your day for the parks, you can either say, all right, we want to change this trip because we don't want to miss out on anything. Or you can say, you know what, we're going to go. We're going to make the best of it. We know that Disney's going to take care of us.
Yeah.
And Wednesday might be a resort day, and they're going to break out some characters. And a lot of times they will, especially places like Coronado with the convention centers, they will set up different movies in every convention space they have. Like, they go above and beyond. So as you are going through the stress and worry about what to do with your trip this week, getting there and getting back can sometimes be the part you're most concerned about.
Yeah.
Once you are there, the only thing, if your trip gets ruined at that point, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And we say that a lot. It's how you deal with the fact that this is coming and that a parks might be closed Wednesday or Thursday or whatever it may be. So just a little food for thought. All right, let's move on to Grand Floridian Cafe. It had been about a year or so, I think, since we dined here. You go back to episode 592, and you can get our full update there. We were meeting some friends there, right? So, which is so funny because two of them, Tay and Steph, is who we had brunch with last time we ate at Grand Flow Cafe,
Yes.
right?
That is true.
So how was Grand Flow Cafe this time around?
Oh, it was wonderful. The last time we did not get biscuits with citrus butter.
Because they were out.
'cause
We were on the back end of their breakfast to brunch lunchtime.
This time we did.
Yes.
They were fantastic.
Yeah. So I have a question. I brought it up at the table, but I think you were talking to Steph maybe. They brought out this big biscuit platter. They had regular butter.
Yeah.
They had citrus butter.
Right.
And then there was a thing of ketchup. What the heck was that for? That came out before we ordered any meals. That you would wonder if are people putting ketchup on their biscuits? Because if they are,
not.
this is going in a different direction, and we need to reach out to people because I think that's a
Now
cry
I
for
love
help.
ketchup on my eggs.
And maybe he was just saying, you know what? Somebody here most likely is going to order eggs, and maybe they're going to ask for ketchup, which I still think is absurd to put ketchup on eggs. It's disgusting.
So good.
Hot sauce, I understand.
So good.
It's the only potential tomato-based product because some of those might have a tomato base. Ketchup on eggs is weird, but ketchup
scrambled,
on biscuits,
though. It has to be scrambled.
Okay,
They
that's
can't.
at least fair enough.
I don't like it with.
If somebody's putting
over easy.
ketchup on an over easy egg, that's another one. I think that's just like blink twice if you're in trouble because something's wrong.
All right,
But I could not
see
figure
this.
out. There was just a big old thing of ketchup right there in smack dab in the middle.
Okay.
On the plate. Again, it's not as like he set down, here's your biscuits. Here's a standard butter. Here's this citrus butter that we're well known for. By the way, over here's a little thing of ketchup because somebody's probably going to want it, right? Like I had fries with my meal. So I would have asked for ketchup. But it was presented as though like anybody who wants ketchup on their biscuits,
Ew.
I got you.
We were not only there with Tay and stuff. Gary was in town for a convention, so we got to have brunch with him. And Tay and Steph brought Taylor's sister Jana, which was so awesome.
Yeah.
So we had a
wonderful
really great morning.
brunch. It was great. Service was wonderful. Grand Flow Cafe is like having brunch at your grandma's house. Like the decor. It is all comfort food.
Oh, yeah.
It's heavy, but with an elegant side to it. Yeah, I would say it's more like having lunch at your grandma's or brunch at your grandma's house. But she's I don't
fancy.
know. Yeah, she's kind of fancy. You know, maybe
fancy.
she's like more of that fancy, like Southern Belle style. You know what I mean? Where it feels very proper.
Yeah.
Even though it's very comforting. Like, and I just love that decor and all. So let's talk about what we got.
Yeah.
So they do have, as far as their zero proof non-alcoholic menu, we know that Grand Flow is really pumping this agave garden.
Yeah.
and the London Spritzer. And we've actually seen those now start to make their way outside of Grand Flow.
Yeah.
We're seeing them around the monorail resorts. Even over at Crockett's Tavern is now carrying both of those.
Yeah.
Now, something they had in addition here that I had not seen on any other menus was the pineapple jalapeno margarita. Now, that uses the Seedlip Garden 108 non-alcoholic spirit, pineapple juice, lime, and agave. This is $14. So that's what I went ahead and got.
How was it?
It's very good.
Yep.
You got a little bit of the jalapeno flavor. You don't get any of kind of the heat from it. This is overly limey. Like, this had a lot of lime.
Okay.
But it was a great margarita alternative. I enjoyed it. They actually also have a non-alcoholic spicy Bloody Mary.
They did.
Gary got that and would never get it again. He did not care for it at all. He said it's very plain. It didn't come like with any like accoutrement like it should come out.
No,
like,
because
I think
Taylor
Tate took all the
got-
olives with his regular Bloody Mary.
Taylor got a regular Bloody
Yeah.
Mary, and it came out. I think it came with shrimp and like
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. It was pretty.
There was nothing. They
And
did
it was-
nothing for this.
It was sad.
Yeah, I think
It
they
was
put a
sad.
little bit of Seedlip, and then they just took straight from a bottle Bloody Mary mix, and
Yeah.
that's all they did. They added nothing else to it. So probably wouldn't recommend that one here if you are someone who enjoys Bloody Marys but is not having alcohol, whether it's because it's 10:30 in the morning or you just don't drink. Maybe steer clear of that one. What did you decide to get?
So I was trying.
And did you get this because you know that all these meals can feed like a horse? Because again,
Yeah.
very shareable.
Kind of, yeah. And I just didn't know what I wanted, and we ate at Ohana the night before, and I'm like,
I could have gone back to Ohana.
I'm like, do I want like all the like because I was looking at French toast, and I was like, do I want all the oh my gosh. What am I-
Carbs?
Thank you. Do I want all the carbs? But again, oatmeal is carbs as well. But it is a Banana Foster style steel cut oatmeal. And I was like, that really sounds good. It is served with a freshly baked banana bread muffin. This is
That looked like a meal.
$11.
That was a huge muffin.
It was. So this is what I did get. And it came out, and it had the look like the sauce, like the oatmeal was floating in the flambe sauce that I wonder if I could have lit it on fire. Just kidding. Anyways, and it had pieces of banana in it, and then it came with a side of like some type of cream that I tasted it by itself before I put the cream in. Then I put the cream in, and I stirred it all together, and it was really, really good. I was trying to debate on that or the avocado toast, because I was trying to just think of something more on the, I guess, lighter side.
Yeah.
And I love Banana Foster. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with this. And it was really good. The banana muffin was amazing. I used some butter on it. It was really, really good. I would probably definitely get this again.
Oh, good. Yeah. So this comes under the salads and such portion, which I had to go look at because I'm surprised, because I thought this would come out as much more of like a side size or an appetizer side. This was a very full meal, a good amount of food. And for $11, this might be one of those where you think, maybe we really like doing breakfast or brunch. We want to go check out the Grand Floridian and Grand Flow. Maybe we don't want to spend a ton of money, but we still want to get, our money's worth. $11 for that is great. I mean, imagine, I would be shocked if they had this at a quick service food court for $11. And that would be a full meal, I think, for the morning. So that's great.
Speaking of salads and such, I will go ahead and tell you that Steph had the Cobb salad.
Yeah.
And she got, of course, the caramelized onion soup.
French onion soup.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love their French onion soup.
So good. But it was funny because she was sitting there and I was like, is it as good as Brown Derby? She's like, it's good, but
The Cobb
no.
salad?
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like, no, it's not as good as Brown Derby. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right. Because I feel like Brown Derby is the best Cobb salad on property.
Yes.
But
Summer
I
House is very good.
I was just curious. I was like, let me just see.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Maybe we'll talk about that eventually.
Moving on to your.
So I went. This is what Rachel got last time we went. It is the Grand Floridian Cafe signature burger. This replaced, do not hold it against the burger, the Lobster Thermidor burger, which was and will, in my mind, forever be the best burger at Disney. It is no longer available. They've replaced it with this. Rachel got it last time, enjoyed it. She cut off and let me have a little bite last time. I enjoyed it. I thought, I'm going to get a whole thing. So this is an artisanal 7-ounce burger patty with brie, bacon pepper jam, roasted garlic aioli, and arugula on a brioche bun served with cafe signature fries for $25. I was feeling very extra that morning, and I asked if I could get a fried egg added to it because I do love an egg on a burger, and I'm thinking it's a brunch burger. Let's put an egg on it, right? So they bring me the whole burger, fries, and then he just brings a fried egg on the side perfectly. It was like, I think I had it over medium. It was perfect. Took off the top, put the egg on, put the top back on. This thing is now a good 6 inches tall, right? And it was 5.5 before I put the egg on it.
Oh my gosh.
It's massive. So smush it down. That egg yolk breaks, and you get the yolk running all over the burger, which I love. This is one of the messiest things. I will say I did not need to add the egg.
Okay.
It was amazing with the egg, but this burger on its own is already incredible, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There is a ton going on that it doesn't need the egg, but it does one of those things where it balances everything perfectly. When you hear that it has brie on it, it's not just a little slice of brie.
It's a big,
it is a giant half-inch thick chunk of fried brie.
Maybe closer to an inch.
Maybe. It is. That's what gave this burger a lot of height.
Yeah.
So it is this big fried rectangle of brie cheese on top. And as you get into that, the brie starts to melt out on the burger. You have this garlic aioli, and the bacon pepper jam is falling all over the place. The bacon pepper jam actually has a little bit of a chorizo flavor to it, because I actually thought it was chorizo at first until I go back and read it. This was outstanding. I'm not going to award it my best burger on property, but it's going to fight up there with like the Bar Riva one now that we love.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Geyser Point next episode. We did not get the bison burger because we wanted to get some different items, but
because they had some different items.
They do, but the bison burger there, I think, is still number one.
Okay.
I would like to do a taste test of this directly against Bar Riva's new signature burger, and let's throw Three Bridges in the mix.
Okay.
I think this could come out on top of those three as far as a signature burger.
Right.
I loved it. I would get it again and again. It is one of those things where about half to 2/3 through, I'm just like, I don't know if I can eat anymore. And then as we sit there and the conversation goes, you just keep going back and eating more because it's so
Did you
good.
eat that whole thing?
I did not eat the whole thing, but there wasn't a ton left.
Oh
I did pretty good. I loved it. I would get it again and again.
Okay.
And
would you ever get it again with the egg on it?
No, because I just think it just added an extra richness it didn't need. Okay. Now, I wouldn't tell anyone to get it and not get an egg. Like, if that's your thing, get it and try it. I did love it. I just don't think it was needed. Okay. It was perfect as is. I was trying to improve on something and make it better before I ever had a taste of it. Okay. So, I shouldn't have. Okay. I should have had a taste. And then if I could have been like, you know what? I'll take a fried egg. I never would have said that because it wouldn't have needed.
Okay.
Perfect burger.
All right.
Loved it. All right. We're going to finish up this one over at Jock Lindsey's Hangar Bar at Disney Spring. The ever-changing Jock Lindsey's Hangar Bar. This, for me personally, is one of my favorite places to go for many, many reasons. Yep. One, it's outstanding. Mm-hmm. Okay. The food is amazing. The drinks are amazing. The atmosphere is incredible. Mm-hmm. The service is always amazing. And we have some of our favorite memories from here. Yeah. Two specifically I can think of with Lucy and Caleb. There was the night of the monsoon.
Oh, yeah.
That rained like crazy.
Got Gideon's cookies.
You did. You went out and went in the rain because there was no line and got Gideon's cookies and brought them back.
But I had a thing on,
a
jacket.
That was the same night as the cast member proved that machine there actually makes round giant ice cubes because she put one in front of me after she overheard me questioning if it was a real machine. Yeah. The other times when we sat out, and that was this last Christmas, wasn't it? Season that we sat out there with Lucy and Caleb and we tried like the ham and cheese trees and we our thing with them and I've been messaging Lucy some new games because we would come like with games that we would play. So my favorite one that we were playing on the way down was I started listening to oldies because I'm fascinated by this whole Frankie Valli thing. If you have not seen, I'm fascinated by what's going on with him, and I hope that he is okay. But if you go out and look at the clips, Frankie Valli, who is 90 years old, is still performing. Just go watch the clips. It's hard to tell what's going on. So anyway, so I was like, you know what? I really love oldies. So I made this oldies channel, and we're listening to it on the way to Spotify. And every song that came up, like one of us would be like, I remember this from so-and-so movie. So that's going to be the new game we're going to play with Lucy and Caleb. Okay. We put on a random oldies station on Spotify, and you have to say what song that, or what movie that song is from. Okay. So anyway, Jock Lindsey's, a whole bunch of new items, and we had a lot of them.
Yeah,
we went with Steve, so we were really able to try a lot. All right, so starting off, they do have some signature libations that are non-alcoholic. Mm-hmm. They've got a ton of wonderful alcoholic ones. The Air Pirates Mule is one that I used to love all the time with Knob Creek Disney Select. Bourbon in it. They have Reggie's Revenge is one. It's got a Florida Cane Orlando Orange Vodka. That's a very famous one there. A Florida Mule. They've got a Jock's Old Fashioned. They've got a wonderful beer and cider selection. Like, this is a really great place to go get drinks, and especially handcrafted cocktails. What they have for the non-alcoholic, they have the Antidote, which is basically just a Shirley Temple. Mm-hmm. They have the Poisonless Dart, which is soda water with mint, simple syrup, and fresh lime juice, which is basically what you got because that is a non-alcoholic mojito.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you ordered a non-alcoholic mojito, but that's what this is. Yeah. Is the Poisonless Dart.
And it's so good. It's just refreshing.
It's very refreshing.
It is.
In most places, you've done this now at several places.
Yeah.
Including like a Rose and Crown will do it for you. They have the Teddy's Tea, which is green tea with mint and tangerine. And then I got the Diving Bell. That is the Simply Lemonade, and it's got watermelon.
Yeah, and that was good.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
I really like the Simply Lemonade. It can be a little bit overly tart. I really like the sugar-free. Mm-hmm. They don't have it on property. We buy it at home. It just doesn't have quite that, I guess, tartness and that it's almost overly lemony without, unless you get the sugar free. But this was very, very good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. So before we move on to the food, I did want to bring this up in case I forget for next one. It was really cool. We went to Rose and Crown. So I decided to get sober back March 10th. And Rose and Crown, one of our favorite places on property. Yep. We did not walk past Rose and Crown without going in. Unless sometimes maybe we were with your parents or my parents. And even then, I remember we would walk past and the girls would look at us and be like, you guys are supposed to go into Rose and Crown. You do every time. We're like, no, not this time, sweetie. Because we didn't drink around Rhonda's parents or mine. So we didn't go in for probably 5 months, right? And we went in about 2 months ago. Holly and Charlotte, Gavin, Peter, they're all just absolutely wonderful cast members there. We've gotten to know Holly and Charlotte over the years, and it's a place we love going with Lucy and Caleb. So we saw Holly. She said, what are you guys drinking? I was normally going in there getting an old fashioned, or I'd get a snake bite. You would usually get like a lemon drop martini. If we were with Chuck and Amy, we were getting whiskey flights and stuff like that. So when she asked 2 months ago and said, what are you guys having? And I said, do you have any non-alcoholic beers? She said, yeah, we have Heineken. I was like, okay. I said, I'll have that. I just said, I've been sober for 5 months now. And she goes, oh, congratulations. And moved on with her life. Had a couple conversations. So we go back now. It's been 2 months. As soon as we walked in and saw her, she said, are we looking for some non-alcoholic specialties? I just thought that was super cool.
It was.
She sees all these people all day. It's not like we know her like we know a Steve. We've never hung out with Holly outside of Rose and Crown because I think we're all just too busy to ever try and get together. But it was really nice.
It was.
So, and they do have the Heineken Zero there. So we each got one of those. And at least we can still walk around Epcot and have an ice cold beer.
And it was good.
It's very good. I actually really like the Heinekens. I really
liked it.
O'Doul's is the other one that they're going to carry. It's all dependent on which bar, restaurant, whatever it may be you go to on Disney property. Those are the only two they're currently carrying. They're few and far between, and none of them are on menus. So you do need to ask. I have not seen a non-alcoholic beer printed on a menu yet.
Correct.
We have asked. For example, Trader Sam's had nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Then we went to a couple places, had O'Doul's, and we've been to some that have the Heineken. So let's talk about the food, and we're going to start with the Club Obi-Wan wings. This is crispy honey pineapple wings with pineapple salsa, $16. It was 5 or 6 wings. This is what Steve
you
ordered.
And Steve got,
and I had 2 of them. You didn't try them?
No, because I just was like, we had so much more.
We got
and
a lot of other food.
We actually got the shrimp fried rice bites, which we'll go to, but Steve can't eat that.
Yes.
So I was like, no, I'm not going to have a wing because Jeremy already tried them and he can talk about them. So you can go ahead and talk about them.
They're excellent.
Didn't have a bite.
Yeah.
Good.
They're sweet. They're sticky. They have thin sliced fresh jalapeno on top that if you want to have some spice with it, they will give you some spice.
Okay.
It's got diced pineapple on top, not cooked. These were perfect. Good size wings.
Good.
They were cooked perfectly. And I would compare them most closely to something like what you're getting at Ohana. This is a very Asian flair to it with the pineapple and just the sweetness and all of it. I loved these. I would definitely get them again.
Okay.
I've been on like a wing kick lately.
Yeah, you have.
And I would highly recommend these if you like wings. It's not your standard buffalo or anything, but I think it's got really, really good flavoring to it. All right, let's move on to the Orange Pilsner Goat Cheese Dip. What is this, Rhonda? This is something that I think we've been eyeballing ever since it hit the menu because we like goat cheese, right?
Yes, I love goat cheese. This is goat cheese whipped with Sunshine Stroll Orange Pilsner and peppadew served with salt and vinegar house chips for $12.50. I didn't get the salt and vinegar from that.
I did not get any salt and vinegar from the chips, and I'm glad. I don't care for
I
salt
know
and
you
vinegar
don't like
chips.
them, and I love them.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point is that we got this. It's $12.50. It was good, but I don't know what it was.
The dip was cold.
It was cold,
which I thought was strange.
and then it was harder.
Yeah.
So we did need, like, there was a little spoon with it, and then there was little green
scallions.
Is that what it was?
It might have been chives. Actually.
I think it was chives.
Yeah, I think it was
all
chives
on top.
Yep.
I had a bite or two, and let me say it like this. It was fine. I didn't really kind of get my goat cheese like I normally taste. We got the Hangar meatballs. So let me go into this real quick. This is pork and beef meatballs, sweet and sour barbecue, chimichurri on potato hay, and you can substitute for Impossible meatballs for $13, and there's $13, so you can substitute the non-meat ones. I ate one of these, and these were fantastic. I went back to the goat cheese dip, and it's almost like, I don't know what happened to my palate. I don't know if it cleared it. I don't know if it, but all of a sudden that goat cheese dip, I could taste the goat cheese that I love. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I just kind of kept eating it then. Yeah. I don't know why, like I said, I don't know what paired well with that made it just all of a sudden, but yeah, it jumped out and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
I would get it again, but I would probably get it again with the meatballs.
With the meatballs? We can have it then. I thought it was fine. I wouldn't get it again. I do agree, oddly, after you had the meatballs, whatever flavor combination it was, made the goat cheese dip better. I didn't like that it wasn't hot. Okay. I think it would have been a lot better if it was hot. Okay. Yeah, like you couldn't dip a chip in it because the chip would just break. So like you said, you had to spoon it onto the chip, which again is fine. I thought as a hot dip, this would have been better.
Yeah.
But even then, I just didn't love it like I thought I would. So I wouldn't personally get it again. Those Hangar meatballs I would get again and again. And yeah, so pork and beef meatballs with that sweet and sour barbecue, like you said, were just outstanding. A little bit of chimichurri on top. The meatballs on their own, if they just served these in a bowl, would have been fabulous. And Steve said he had them before. First of all, they come out on a Hangar like
super
bed.
Cute. Yeah.
Like it looks like a train bed for their presentation. They just keep going above and beyond
100%
with presentation. Now, while the wings were on a regular plate, again, they were beautiful. The way they had individually thin sliced jalapenos on top of each wing, the way the diced pineapple it was just beautiful. The Orange Pilsner goat cheese dip, the chips came in tiny little brown paper bags.
Yes.
So it was just a real great presentation. And this thing literally came on a Hangar with wheels, like it was part of a train, sitting on top of the flatbed. And what all of these are sitting on is this potato hay. Now, if you remember Planters, at least when I was a kid, you could buy this tube. It is a cardboard tube, but it looks silver on the inside. It's whatever that stuff is on the inside. You know what I mean? And it's like a big canister is a better thing with a plastic top, and it's filled with these thin sliced potato sticks. I think is what they actually call them.
Yeah.
Planters potato sticks.
Yep.
And they're amazing.
Yep.
That's what these are. And there's an entire bed of them. Mm-hmm. And whether they're nice and salty, whether you're just grabbing a handful of those and eating them, they're amazing. Or if that sweet and sour barbecue and the chimichurri had dripped off into them, it made them even better. And this is one we ate all the meatballs. And then as we're like just sitting there talking, you just keep grabbing more and more of this potato hay. Like if you could, it reminded me a little bit of that collaboration when they used to do the popcorn chicken, which was literally a thing of popcorn.
Yep.
And then in it were skewers that had buffalo chicken on them. And as the buffalo sauce dripped down into the popcorn, you ate it after. That was kind of that similar setup. I loved it.
Yeah.
Again and again would get these.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to change them because they're going to come with a holiday menu. I don't know if these will be back, whatever. But if they are, I will get them.
Yeah.
Loved
they were
them.
really good.
Highly, highly recommend.
And then going now to the shrimp fried rice
talk about the shrimp fried rice bites.
with shishito peppers and sweet and sour sauce for $14. That came in a cone.
It's cool. It's this little cone, and if you've seen cones somewhere, a lot of times fries will come in them, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a twirly. How do you explain this without like hand jet? Like it's a
cone.
It looks like a spring in the shape of a cone. Is the vessel. They then have basically like a cardboard paper cone that sits inside of it.
Okay, yeah.
In there's the shrimp bites, but what's even cooler is it had this flip over little sauce thing that was connected to the cone portion.
Yeah.
I'm describing this horribly, and that had like a sweet and sour sauce in it.
Yeah. But then it also had it on the sides in little cups.
Yeah, so again, just so cool looking.
It was.
I really enjoyed these.
I loved these.
I didn't get a ton of shrimp flavor, nor shrimp. I would have liked big chunks of shrimp in it.
Okay.
But it was okay because I still thought they were delicious.
Yes.
They still would have killed Steve.
Yes.
Even if I didn't get a ton of shrimp flavor or actual chunks of shrimp. Yeah, he couldn't have them.
No.
I enjoyed them and I would get them again.
And the shishito peppers were
Oh,
really
the
good.
shishito peppers were just
So
in there
good.
with it. I love a good blistered, salty shishito pepper.
Yep,
I
I
might
was a
eat
fan.
some today. Well, you go to the Jaguar game.
Okay.
I'm just going to sit around and eat a bowl of shishitos.
Okay.
Did you liked these though, right?
Oh my gosh.
You would get 'em
absolutely.
again?
I would get these again. Even though it didn't have a lot of shrimp flavored, the rice bites just by themselves, or just if it said fried rice bites, perfect.
Yeah.
Like I loved them.
Yep. You would they would just have to either just omit the shrimp because I don't know that it was adding much, or just say that there is obviously some sort of shellfish,
Correct.
so that we don't kill Steve.
Yeah.
Almost again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so where were we? Usually, I'm very, very good at pinpointing specific stupid memories. Were we with Rob and Tina that they ordered some sort of boudin balls somewhere? Like New Orleans style boudin balls with sausage and rice? Were we... Was that available at Halloween Horror Nights or something?
I don't know.
Maybe it was a dream. But that's what they reminded me of, was like a New Orleans style boudin ball.
Okay.
But then it came with a sweet and sour dipping sauce to give it a little bit of Asian flair.
Yeah.
Jock Lindsey's.
Yeah, this
was
great.
I don't think we talk enough about Jock Lindsey's as we should. Like when we do our top episodes of just overall whatever it may be, like Jock Lindsey's hits every single mark. The only way Jock Lindsey's could be maybe better, and honestly I don't know if it would improve it, is if you put it in Hollywood studios where they had that pop-up Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny bar, right? If you could put it right there at Indiana Jones within a park and give it that Nomad Lounge treatment, but I honestly don't know if it would make it better, because we sat out there on the deck. Now, we didn't sit in the fake boat portion.
Right.
We sat out there on the patio, the deck, overlooking the water. The amphibicars are going out and coming in. Like, I don't know if you could actually improve upon Jock Lindsey's by sticking it in a park, unless you could somehow put it on water.
Yeah, that's true. That was great.
It's 10 out of 10 every single time we go there.
Yeah.
Already, Lucy and Caleb are coming back to visit, and right after Christmas, and we're going to go down with them for 2 nights, stay at the Wyndham there, Lake Buena Vista, right at Disney Springs, and we've already been talking about how excited we are to go to Jock Lindsey's.
Nice.
Whether they have the ham and trees ham and cheese trees back or not.
Yeah.
God, you remember those? They had the
They were so
rosemary.
good.
And didn't they have the dome with the smoke? Didn't those have smoke to them?
I think.
I think they had a little dome, and they put a little bit of hint of smoke, and they took... Oh, those things were good. I love
They were.
Jock Lindsey's.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we're going to cover for this one because it was already a very lengthy episode. Rhonda's got to get all ready to go watch the Jaguars in the pouring rain. So not only do you get to go watch them lose and most likely be embarrassed again, you get to do it in the rain. And I'm going to stay home and see if I can get the game on the new TV that we got.
Okay.
I was shocked. So we got a new TV, and I was shocked it did not have a built-in TV tuner. I'm still going to have to...
That's
connect to
super weird.
coax. And here's the thing with new TVs. I will say this. If anybody's buying a new TV, okay, I went, hindsight, 2020, I had to get a new wall mount,
Yeah.
right? Because the TV is bigger. It technically would have fit on the old wall mount, but I wasn't going to feel comfortable with it staying. So I bought a new wall mount, and I just got the fixed one because where it is in our living room, we don't need one that swivels or anything, right?
Right.
Here's the thing with those fixed mounts. Once they're on the wall, you ain't getting behind them unless you're flat Stanley.
Or
right?
you have a little
Or you've got to
Rhonda.
have little tiny Rhonda arms. And then, but I love you, but then you might as well have T-Rex arms because you can't reach that far. I'll see before you go if you can plug in anything in the back of this thing.
Okay.
Because all of the
I
stuff...
got it off the
But
wall,
here's the
didn't
thing.
I?
Why would they not make this TV where the inputs were more towards the outside of the TV? They're like 4 feet in the middle of the dang TV, so you can barely reach in to plug new stuff in.
Well, when you take it off the wall, there's these
Yeah, I had
two
these little-
like
So
system,
I put it
and
on the
I
wall.
had to do that,
Right? Well,
and
listen.
I got it off the wall for y'all.
This is the life of Disney podcasters when they're not podcasting. They get TVs and they put them on a wall. First of all, I raised the mount that was existing. Well, from the existing space. So I took the old mount off, put the new one up, and I raised it because this is a bigger TV. It's going to need to go up some. So we get it. Rob comes over. It's a very heavy TV, even though they're now as thin as paper. They're still 100-something pounds for this sucker. So we lift it up. We get it on the wall, sit down, and I'm like, the TV's too low on the wall. But this is not an easy task of getting it up there. So we waited, a week or so until we had some time yesterday when we got home. Talon was over. We had to call Rob over. It was going to take 3 of us to get it back up on the wall. I had to move the mount back up. Just a huge, huge hassle. But I'm going to watch football on it maybe today if you can get your arm behind there. So go ahead and stay tuned. You want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We have a lot more dining reviews to come up. One that I am so super excited to talk about is the Boathouse. And we made our way back to Yak and Yeti without eating the ahi tuna nachos.
We sure did.
And we learned a very important tip about the Landry Select Club card and some of its rewards. We will share all of that with you here coming soon. That cool episode is coming up with my friends from the Double Hop Beat podcast about how to throw an ultimate Disney Halloween party. I will show you some of the photos they sent me from past parties. It's absurd. And then, of course, that Journey into Imagination episode with my new friend Connor Brown from Vacation Kingdoms. You're going to want to listen to that one because you're going to get to learn pretty much as much about him as I'll get to on that episode.
Okay.
Because we're very new friends.
Nice.
So very excited to have him on. And if you are ready for that next trip, of course, no matter where you want to go, our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. Of course, if you're out there after hitting subscribe, we'd be super thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.